go. I feel my chair so high.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Jesus, I am just sneezing.
Yes.
Yes, we are mortal. Much to people's contrast, you know. Hey, is it real? Up. Is it real?
No, we're just sitting here talking to a dead camera.
Oh, sorry. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good morning. This is a type of news.
Yes.
I'm Dutch Pyramid.
Sneezing because you're eating and drinking too much sugar, ain't you?
I ain't drinking too much sugar because I'm gonna wean myself off of sugar because, see, that's gonna be too expensive.
Unless somebody does something about it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we said in our last Facebook status, we would be tackling the sugar tax today. However, rather than tackling it, we're going to raise some concerns that we have with it, as well as ask a couple questions. And we'll then open the discussion in the comments for questions to be asked.
And before you ask us, yes, we have contacted experts. We are in talks to have them on.
We have spoken to several business owners, large and small,
Bermuda Health Council,
Diabetes Association,
and the Ministry of Health.
and the Ministry of Health, because the more information we can get about this thing, the better.
And hopefully they can come on and share that information with you
I know Mr. Dunkley said that he would be more than happy to speak to us.
as an entrepreneur.
No, that's, well, he would get hit, his company would get a massive hit by this.
Yeah.
As well as I have spoken to a lot of small business owners. However, I have very much learned that some small business owners do not want to openly speak out against it for fear of loss of sales or opposing the government and seeing a drop, which is bad because people in Bermuda should be free to speak however they want to. However, I do understand their concerns.
For sure.
Because remember what happened to iRepair? When he when he expressed his political opinion and they spray painted the store and everything?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
Now, sugar tax. What is it? The sugar tax, we're not going to go through the full legal term because it's way too long, but the sugar tax basically will be a 75% to 150% tax increase on specifically sugar, hard candies, and the list is a bit longer, but basically it excludes baking materials like pre-made baking mixes. It excludes chocolate, which I find really weird, and it excludes liquid sugar, like syrups. It says. Now I'm a little questionable about that. Like, does that include like caramel syrups, maple syrups, Aunt Jemima? Like, what does that mean?
Now, the sugar tax has a good intention, obviously, because we have a growing rate of obesity.
And we have the highest diabetes rate in the world.
Yeah, and
Which
the
is horrifying.
government is attempting to rectify this by implementing a tax on sugary items, which will hopefully deter folks who are obsessively eating or eating unhealthily to go and try and change their diet.
Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with the sugar tax. However, I don't think it's being implemented properly because a lot of countries do have sugar taxes. Like a lot of places in Europe, I know New Jersey, there's one, and I know that they specifically reference Mexico in the document, but I don't think Mexico's the correct country to be. No shade on Mexico, but you know.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with the sugar tax's intention. Like, I can see that it's obviously in good faith of the government to try and look out for those who are in need of a health change or, in need of an eating change. But, of course, the drawback and the flip side of that is healthy food is already twice as expensive as the sugary food.
I had a grocery shop the other day. I think like an apple was, like a one Fiji apple was like $2.
Yeah, and I feel as though the government is kind of coming at it from a point of view that it's a choice. You choose these things, but I don't think it's taken into account, Now, it did say low-income families will not be targeted. It did say that.
But how a low-income family is not going to be targeted when the prices of stuff that they buy is going to go up? Whether they're not, like, the terminology of it is very. We say this one thing, but then we don't say another. It says that locally made produce won't go up. Like the taxes on locally made produce won't go up. So I guess that would target bakers and local candy makers. However, the prices of the ingredients that they need to buy to make their products, would they not go up? So like if a baker, because it said that fondant would be taxed as well. Let's say a baker needs to make a cake. You need to put the icing on the cake. The baker's taxes for making the cake's not gonna go up, but the price it costs to make the cake is. So wouldn't the prices still go up? And then the document says that nougat and caramel would be taxed, but chocolate is getting excluded. So are Snickers bars gonna get taxed because it's nougat and caramel wrapped in chocolate? So the chocolate covered caramel.
And I'm trying to figure out that we already have a
35%
import tax on companies like Barrett's and Dunkless.
Goslings.
All of the imported companies already have a 35% tax. Therefore, their prices will reflect that tax. Now, if you add on 75% to 100,
or 150% to 35.
Yeah, if you add on that tax on top, prices will go up all around. So, how is a low-income family?
Or small business, specifically small business,
who survives off of, getting those frozen food and getting those taxed items going to make up for the loss that they have? Because sure, it's easy if you say, oh yeah, let me just choose to buy lettuce, but I mean grapes by the pound are $5.99.
No. A bag of grapes. I bought one of the prepackaged bags of grapes yesterday. First of all, a small thing this big of organic grapes at Linda's is $8. That's literally like 50 cents a grape.
That's 2 Hot Pockets. I'll tell you that much.
50 cents a grape. Organic broccoli is $8.90. I just went grocery shopping yesterday. $8.97 I spent on organic broccoli. But a 6-pack of Coke is $5.90.
And being as though our country hasn't actually bottled any sodas for like years, it's going to be a hefty hit to companies like Barrett's and Dunkless. And the thing is about these two specific companies is regardless of those opinions of those who are leaders or owners of these companies,
they employ Bermudians.
And not just a little bit of Bermudians.
I think I spoke to Dunkley. He said that he employs over 100 Bermudians, most of which are black.
If that matters.
Of course it matters. It shouldn't, but it does.
Of course it does.
Now, this is the problem. Okay, so let's say this tax goes, and the price of soda goes up from $2 to $3.50 because of the tax. The price is going to have to go up to $5 a soda so that the company can recoup their losses for having to lose money on the taxes and to bring more stuff in. See, the problem with these types of things is you have to look at how much money companies spend, because what you spend and your profits are two different reasons. When you spend $5 on a carton of milk, that doesn't mean that Dunkley's makes $5. It means they make, I'm not sure the exact math, but let's say they make $3 and the retailer makes $1.50 and the government makes 50 cents.
Yeah, expenses and revenue.
So my question is, now Dunkley's is a large company. Barrett's is a large company, but what about smaller businesses? What about the bakeries and the candy shops? Because there's quite a few local candy places. I know one lady, she makes candy out of her house, and there's a place on Front Street that does candy. There's that new place. Okay, it's not really new. It's been there for about a year. Remember where the comic book store used to be? Where the Snug is? There's a candy store in there. There's treats. I mean, these aren't large companies. Now, this is the question. This is where I get worried. Rent in town is already ridiculous. Like, we were looking at renting an office in town, and we're just like, oh, the office is $2,400. We're like, okay, and then $1,200 for taxes and everything else. So it's like, and that's not in like a retail spot. So Lord knows how much some of these small businesses are paying, but they're surviving, which is great. And they're able to pay their staff. If the goal is to stop people from buying stuff and to increase the prices, then people will lose their jobs. People will get laid off. What about the grocery stores? The grocery stores are going to have to spend more money to bring in things.
Marketplace and lenders, all of them already really paying a hefty up than what they used to pay off with 35% as it is. So now, and keep in mind that Marketplace is the largest employer minus the government. So the largest private employer. Yes.
I didn't know that. Well, right, because it's Marketplace, Price Right, the different entities at Marketplace. Right, that's a very good point.
And what will happen is that they will have to raise their prices on these things to match. And a lot of us don't like to admit it, but we have a diabetes problem because a lot of times the cost of living here is so high that these sweet and cheap foods are the main sales for these big entities.
So it's cheaper than water.
And it's not going to be the same as America where, they can supplement these prices by having a large population. If 30 people decide not to buy that day, or let's say 100 people decide not to buy that week, a company will feel it here. It's not like the bigger countries where if they lose 100 people, they might pull in 1,000 people here doing a different initiative.
Or even if they don't sell enough in America, they sell enough in China or India.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that here. It's going to be a direct hit to us and to the people who are making money, because the employees at Marketplace or lenders, they have to then come on and shop as well. So,
because in New Jersey, when they I believe it was New Jersey, when they posted the sugar tax, Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola both said, okay, but because of this, we're going to have to fire 15 to 20% of our staff. Because you're making us pay taxes, and we want to be exempt from these taxes at XYZ, so we can still make the same amount of money, but you as a government can get more money from us.
Yeah.
But that's how companies go down, because the thing is, when companies have to pay more to operate, the workers feel it. Not the CEOs, not the managers, it's the workers, it's the basic workers. Now,
it's very alarming how this sugar tax, as big of a legislation as it is, and what impact it could have, has been floating on the radar for so long. Like, so many people do not know anything about it. And when you mention it, they say, yeah, sugar tax, but they don't know the percentile, they don't know much about the details.
Or they don't think about the full impact. Remember when the OBA tried to do the tax reform?
Yeah.
And the but the grocery stores and the retail stores were like, okay, tell you what, you want to do this? If you do X, we'll do Z. Because if you make us pay more money, we're going to have to pay our workers less. Some retail workers make like $12, $14 an hour. That's not a livable wage in Bermuda.
No.
Now, when this happened, they'll be like, look, well, we're going to have to pay them even less because we have to pay more. And in order for us to operate, we have to make X amount of dollars. So if you're taking more money from us, then that X amount and our X amount of dollars has to stay the same. We're gonna cut corners and lay people off and pay people less, so we can still make our bare minimum, and you can still get your money. So that's kind of where the question comes, because it says that small business won't be hit by this. It says that the low income family won't be hit by this, but I don't understand how they won't be.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Again, the sugar tax has been floating on the radar, and I feel as though it's something that should be outlined as to how the government has looked at supplementing the losses of these businesses, or how they have looked at a foolproof plan as to how the sugar tax will not impact businesses. It's easy to say that it won't, but when you see all the headlines about the healthcare prices and Bronze Clinic and all of that,
and Zane Discipline,
and all of that. And it's nothing about a sugar tax, like a way for people to see straight down the line, oh, this is what is going to be taxed. This is exactly the price, not no 75 to 150. And this is, just so that you put some thought into it about.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the former Minister De Silva leave because the PLP canceled one of the clinics that made people lose their jobs?
So he says.
Okay. So as far as we know, that's the official report. So, we're not going to comment on that further. But he's upset because people are losing their jobs because of a decision the government made. Now, I know that the government's main criticism for the OBA was that they didn't increase jobs and that the main thing in one of their platforms was increasing jobs for millions, but this doesn't increase jobs. This puts them in jeopardy. Now, a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm sorry, but if one person loses their job because of something, then that is a loss. Because that is one Bermudian that cannot pay their rent. That is one Bermudian that cannot take care of their children. That is one Bermudian that can't do something. And the thing is that we are a small enough community that we'll still feel it.
And the bigger issue that I think a lot of people are glazing over here is if you up the prices of certain things, how does that affect financial assistance? Do the financial assistance people require more money now, which means that taxes must increase to supplement the new prices of these foods? Will financial assistance people be forced to work with what they have, thus making the system inept? Because now they won't have enough assistance with financial assistance to buy certain things? Because I know for a fact that with the prices going up, and less people paying taxes, if people get laid off, or a company starts saying, oh, I don't need you to work, how is the financial assistance going to work? Because they get a certain amount, whenever quarter, I'm not really sure any specific, but they get a certain amount, and they're supposed to use that to buy food. Now, food itself is going up in price. How has the government looked at supplementing the taxes we pay to financial assistance and the amount that the financial assistance people get to supplement that new raise in cost? There hasn't been any specifics as to how this will not affect us as the everyday person, because I know the government will win because they will make way more money.
Of course they will, but it also okay. Anytime a political plan is put through, regardless of the minister, regardless of the political party, whenever a political bill or act or whatever you want to call it gets put through, it's dropping a rock into a pond. There are always ripples. It's not just the area that you hit. See, this is done in the name of, this is being pushed forward by the health minister to combat diabetes, but it's still going to hurt on a financial and economic level. Now, this is the next thing. We did the same thing with cigarettes years ago.
Yeah.
I was working at the gas station. I was working at the gas stations when they did this as a cashier, and I'll never forget it. I don't remember the exact price, but let's say cigarettes went from $6 to $10. And I remember coming to work that day, and I was like, "Oh man, we're probably not going to sell as much cigarettes today." And what happened? They done flew off the shelves. Now, the customers were a little angry about it. I got a lot of, what? $10? Man! But an addiction is an addiction. Now, whether we like to admit it or not, sugar is the most addictive substance on the planet.
You better believe it.
People will give up smoking and drinking before they give up a candy Coke.
Or a chocolate.
Or a chocolate bar. But the thing is, the funny thing, chocolate's not get. Oh, hold on, I'll get to that next. But the thing is, now it brings me back to my job argument, because we still sold at the gas station. We still sold the same amount of cigarettes. However, we made less money because a pack of cigarettes goes up to $10 from $6. Now, before, we would make $2. We would make $3 because Marlboro would make $3. Now, Marlboro's making $3, we're making $3, and the government's making $4. Now, that money's going through us, but it's still going right from us to them, because when you increase the price and you still sell the same amount, but you have to spend more money to bring it in.
Not only that, but if more people are spending more money on that item, they're not buying other items.
Exactly. And okay, if 10 people go to the grocery store and buy 10 candy bars, even though candy bars aren't being taxed, and the grocery store makes $10. Okay. The grocery store spent $5 bringing those in, so that means the grocery store makes a $5 profit. If the price goes up so that people spend $15 on 10 candy bars, but it costs the company $8 to bring them in, and then has to pay the government more, they're making the same amount of money, but having to spend more money to bring it in.
Which means they're going to up the price.
Which means they're going to up the price to cover their losses.
But once they up the price, they're going to sell less.
Exactly. So now, okay. I understand this is combat diabetes. I understand this. But the thing is, we raise the taxes on alcohol almost every year. And how does the song go? Any occasion, it's persuasion.
Yeah.
Bermudians love to drink. Remember how angry everybody was when they said you can't bring your own drinks in the cup match anymore because they wanted to tax them and make money off of them. Mm-hmm. Did people still get lit at cup match?
You better believe
Yeah,
it.
damn right they did.
And the thing is, sugar is which type of diabetes? The diabetes lady came to us.
I think it's type 2.
Salt.
That's another thing.
Salt also is also a cause of diabetes.
And the thing is, it's not just what the candy and the soda that we drink. Look at what we eat as a Bermudian. Remember a couple years ago when KFC was doing renovations for like 2 months? I remember I was in England when this happened. And I'll never forget it because I looked on Facebook and when KFC reopened, the line was coming out the store. Butterfield and Vallis isn't going to get hit by this as much. That's another question. That's another thing that's odd. But it's a combination of sugary stuff and sodium because we eat a lot of fatty foods. I mean, what's the first thing that flies out from marketplace every day? Macaroni and cheese, right?
Well,
And the barbecue chicken, right?
everybody likes their rotisserie chicken.
And everybody likes those rotisserie chickens and that macaroni and cheese with the mashed potatoes and all that good starchy substances.
Right.
Now, cool. All fine and dandy. However, why isn't the price of healthy food going down?
It makes you wonder what the tax is actually for, because if it was to combat diabetes, it would be paired with a SALT initiative. It would be paired with an active initiative.
It would be paired with a health initiative.
Yeah, the government
From
could
the
launch
health
like
minister.
a exercise program or something.
That's another
to
thing.
go with it. So it seems as though right now these sugar taxes seem very half-baked if it is indeed for diabetes, because diabetes has multiple factors that lead into it, like lack of exercise and lack of activity, and salt, which is not being touched.
Let me ask you something. What type of factory did Willy Wonka have?
A chocolate factory.
What type of factory did Charlie have?
A chocolate factory.
Now, Willy Wonka says there's more candies than just chocolate, yes?
Oh yeah.
But why did he specifically have a chocolate factory? What is the most popular type of candy?
Chocolate.
When we go to check out our groceries, what's the first thing we see?
Cadbury. Every single chocolate. Everything.
So why isn't chocolate being taxed? Who's a partial owner of VGA? I don't mean to go down the conspiracy mill, but I find it very convenient that one party has interest in sodas and another party has interest in chocolates, but the party that's got interest in sodas is being taxed, but the party that's not got interest in chocolates isn't.
Now, with the conspiracy swirling around, the UBA is targeting of black businesses with this healthcare course. It looks like
It now we could be wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm sorry if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck. I'm gonna call it what it is. It looks it's a goddamn duck.
Yeah,
It's a duck.
It's just
It
because
doesn't make sense.
You look at the headlines, and the headlines right now are smeared with brown and the healthcare clinic thing. And the funny thing about it,
And the health thing is just getting swept under the rug. I haven't heard anything about not the healthy, the sugar thing. I haven't heard anything in official news about the sugar tax.
but the funny thing about it is that Premier Bart actually motioned to not dismiss the Leahy case.
But what happened?
it was a flip-flop from when he was opposition leader, and him and Zane Da Silva signed a signatory saying that this case was a farce.
And
they
where
said
is
that
Zane Da
it was
Silva
a
now?
farce. Yeah, but
Should've-
Bart has switched his position on that case, and Zane Da Silva has resigned. And here we have these healthcare clauses are staying in effect, even though the PLP is in power. They're staying in effect, and you have this sugar tax. So, for those who are not really following, now I know that we usually don't do this, but this is just too obvious. It looks as though not only are the sugar tax targeting specific people, but the fact that Premier Burt did not motion or put in any way, shape, or form that he was going to pull back these costs to help his old colleague, and that Zane Da Silva has resigned, makes it look like there's a splinter between our old friend
Dr. Braun?
and our new friend David Burt,
Now,
and a backhand slap to the most vocal member of the OBA.
second most vocal.
Well, he's more vocal.
Papa Craig.
Oh well,
I'm been in the house, literally, and this is.
I'm talking about the headlines.
Oh, in the head. Well, my face was in the headlines right now.
Oh,
But either way, he ain't behind the milk carton anymore because nobody's looking for him. Either way. Now we could be wrong.
yeah, we could be.
Hopefully, I'd like to be wrong,
Oh yeah.
but I'm sorry because if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck,
We just hope that through our digging and through folks coming to speak to us, experts and whatnot, that we will get to an impasse of maybe Miss Wilson or representative from the Health Council or the Ministry of Health might shed some light.
I would
on-
certainly hope so. I know the PLP don't like speaking to us, but
I think,
somebody.
Yeah, just shed some light on this, and I think that hearing from, Ms.
Oh, we'll
Duncan's
definitely
side
get
of
somebody
this-
from the other side.
Yeah.
They'll beg him to come speak to us.
Because how it looks to us and how these dots are falling together, it looks very, very fishy. And we're hoping, and we're not looking to tear down the PLP, we're not looking to put these conspiracies on the name, we're just showing you how it looks to us.
See, now sometimes when it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's just a really ugly chicken.
Or swan.
Or swan, even better. Or goose.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I'd like to see instead of a sugar tax, or in conjunction with a well implemented sugar tax. Why don't we see if we can get the insurance companies involved in being healthier? Now, I don't know how to implement this because, frankly, I'm not an elected official. This is not my job. But just a shot in the dark here. Let's say I go to the athletic club.
Mm-hmm.
Let Kavina kill me for a day.
Right.
Athletic club, let's say the athletic club is, I'm not sure the exact price, but let's say it's $150 a month. Now, in the States, they have a safe driver's insurance plan, which means the safer you drive and the more responsible you drive, the lower your auto costs are. Why don't we do a health benefit? So let's say I sign up for a gym membership. Insurance pays 20% of that gym membership. However, I have to go to the gym at minimum twice a week. And if I don't go, I need an excuse, or I need a valid reason as to why I didn't go. Let's say if I go to the grocery store and I buy fruits and vegetables and whole grain rice rather than white rice. Let's say I get 5 to 10% off those items, or cash back, or some form of incentive, because the thing is, we are not going to get healthier by making the cost of unhealthy things higher. We are going to get healthier by making being healthy more attractive and easy. See, my mother and my stepfather are vegan. My sister and her husband are partially vegan. Like, most of the time they eat vegan food, but sometimes, they'll occasionally go get a fish sandwich or whatever. And a good friend of mine who works at the gym we just referenced is also vegan.
Oh yeah.
My parents, my stepfather and my mom, are ridiculously healthy. My stepfather is in excellent shape. Like, you can see by his face that he's a middle-aged man, but physically he is a very fit man. My mother looks good for her age. I'm not saying it because she's my mama. And my sister had a baby not too long ago and don't even look like she had any of them. And her husband is in very good physical condition as well. Now, that's not just from eating healthy. That's from exercising and other things. But eating healthy has a big thing to do with it. Now, I commend them. Frankly, I'm not going to go vegan because I like my meat and my cheese. But I commend them because they eat healthier and they're better off. But if that shit ain't expensive, man.
Yep. If you can be healthy because you can afford to be healthy.
See, I would go grocery shopping with my mom. My mom was, oh, you should get this instead of this, and you should get this instead of this. I'm like, yeah, but you see, the way my bank account's set up, I'm gotta get the cheap shit.
Obesity is tied to low income earning households.
Exactly. It is a very low income problem. Now, of course, there's higher end people that...
Of course.
But...
one of the biggest hang-ups is the fact that low-income households cannot afford to eat as healthy and cannot afford high-quality products that will keep them in better shape. The cheaper a chicken is, most likely the more it's been processed. It's just how it gets. So it's like, the cheaper you buy, if you buy that frozen chicken and you buy that frozen stuff, it's not good for you in the slightest, but it's cheap.
Let me ask you something. What's cheaper? A big bottle of water or a tin of Kool-Aid?
A tin of Kool-Aid.
And what you gonna buy? You're gonna buy that tin of Kool-Aid.
That's right.
You're gonna buy that $5 tin of Kool-Aid rather than that $7 bottle of water, and you're gonna get more to drink out of the thing of Kool-Aid because you fill it up with your tap water, you drop it in there, and you've got double the amount of liquid for almost half the price.
So if you were looking to tackle diabetes, you would do a give and take somewhere. If you went up in the sugar tax prices, right, and you went up and made those more expensive,
we need to see a balance.
You need to lower the prices of healthy food. And I don't know if there has to be a government supplemental or...
It needs to be, because in the PLB's platform was to make the cost of living lower for the average Bermudian. However, all this sugar tax will do is make it higher, as far as I've seen. Now, feel free to argue with me. Feel free to prove me wrong, because if you prove me wrong, I'll be happier, because if we're wrong about this, then it's better for the country.
But how it looks right now...
But how it looks right now, as I keep saying, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a damn duck.
Yep, that's right.
So
we hope that all the experts that we reach out to get back to us, and that we do get them on this show, because it's a lot of questions, and maybe you can clear up maybe some clerical errors that we have made as far as people from the outside looking in, as the everyday Joe. You might be able to provide a bit of insight that we have missed or misconcepted.
Now, we've invited a couple of people, we've reached out to Mr. Wilson. I know Duncan said he'd love to come speak to us. Trying to reach to some people at Barrett's, as well as if any small businesses, that goes for bakeries, candy stores, any of you would like to talk to us, whether you want to be directly quoted in this or not, okay, cool, or whether or not you just like to speak to us to get your opinions out so we can convey what you would like to speak without coming on camera, or if you want to come on camera, please let us know, because the more information we get about this, the better, because frankly, I am very disappointed with the lack of media coverage that this situation is getting. It really seems...
like it's a sweep under the rug.
No, not even just that. It really seems like we are the only ones that are not afraid to stick our hands in the mud.
Which is fine.
I'm fine with that. Well, okay, no, I'm not fine with that, because
I'm not fine with it.
It shows that people are afraid to speak their minds. So we ain't afraid to speak our minds. You got that right.
Our questions to you is, our request from you is to just leave whatever questions that you would like to be answered below.
Yes.
so that we can relay those questions to any health official that we might get.
Or that we can just present it in a format that people will see it in.
Yes.
So please let us know. Please get back to us. The next episode that we do will be a follow-up to this one.
That's right.
Because this was just us asking questions and expressing our concerns. The next episode we do will be us speaking to people.
That's right.
Who those people are
We don't know yet.
is up to you, lot.
It's been It's a Type of News. I'm Dr. Spearman.
Check you out later.
That's Bruce Robinson. Look out for our next episode. Peace. In the Middle East.